In today's video, we're exploring 2 homes currently for sale in Easton Park. They are, in my opinion, the best resale and new construction deals currently available, including this home, a 3-car garage listed at $510,000 in a great spot in Bryant Park. We're gonna get after it right now. Hey, Daniel here, local Easton Park real estate expert. If you're thinking of making a move to the Easton Park neighborhood, be sure to subscribe to this channel so you can stay up to date on the latest real estate news. I typically post once a week on this channel. I do home tours, best deals, market reports, really everything real estate related only about our neighborhood. So if you are thinking of buying or selling in this area, definitely subscribe and you can reach out to me directly for more information. You know, as a teacher for 10 years before I jumped into real estate, I was actually a band director at Aikens High School in South Austin right before I made that switch. And I realized as I turned to face the sun in this intro, I realized that A, you should wear a hat whenever you're filming for YouTube. But secondly, the morals and values that were really important to me, that drew me to education, wanting to help people, has really helped me be successful as a real estate agent. Honesty, hard work, effective communication, and truly just caring about my clients and their goals, I think is what sets me apart from other agents and really helps my clients win in this competitive market. So it doesn't matter if you're looking to move in 9 days or 90 days, you can give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, or schedule a Zoom call. Love to help you and your family find a great home and a great deal in our beautiful neighborhood. All right, let's jump into the tour. All right, so the first home we're checking out is the resale deal of the month. This is such an interesting house. I can't wait to show you guys the inside of this one. This is a 4-bed, 2.5 bath, 2,289 square foot property, 2-story, built in 2016, listed today at $535,000, but when I spoke with the owner, they said they're actually dropping it more today, so it's now listed at $510,000. Originally $585,000, so they've dropped it from the high 500s down to the low 500s. You'll see why when we go inside. This is a Milestone property. We're in Bryant Park. This is the first section of Easton Park that was built. And the first thing that I want to show y'all is actually the lot placement, because I think that's one of the best things about this specific home. So Bryant Park, you have this main entrance off William Cannon, it goes down, and then each of these are just little branch off limbs, and they're all cul-de-sacs. So the only through traffic you have going across here is a cul-de-sac there. It's just the people living on the street, so very little through traffic. But the biggest thing is right there. So that's William Cannon off in the distance, and literally where you're seeing trees behind the cars, a new H-E-B is going to go right there, and that's going to be finished at the end of 2027. So in the future, in a very near future, 2-3 years from recording this, you're gonna be able to walk to H-E-B. Now, you may not feel like walking to H-E-B, it doesn't really matter. The point is, when you go to sell the home, that's going to heavily increase the resale value of just proximity to that H-E-B. We're also getting a Chick-fil-A right across the street from the H-E-B, and we already have some things there, CVS, McDonald's. We're getting a large gym in that area, Starbucks. So that corner is gonna be full of stuff. I just walked past the house, we're gonna explore. Full of stuff. So I think the placement here is fantastic. You see we have a 3-car garage. Now I was a little concerned when I first walked up, because I was like, oh cool, they have like a cat door. I haven't seen that. But then I walked over the side, you can see obviously we're just getting past the freeze, and that's not covered. And maybe, this is the first day I've been able to get out of my house. Maybe they came by this morning and took the covers off, but I have my doubts about that. So a little concerned about the well-being of this property because we just had a freeze and it's vacant. So I don't know if anyone came by and took care of that. So just something that caught my eye right off the bat. But looking at it from the front, it looks like it's in pretty good condition. I'm not seeing any fractures in the stone exterior. The siding looks like it's in pretty good shape. I'm gonna be careful how I walk over this. So let's check it out. All right, there are gonna be a lot of things that I don't like about this property. I'm just gonna be upfront with y'all. I'll say them as I see them. The first thing that you're gonna see just throughout is it's grimy, it's gross in this house. The trim, when I get close up, I mean, it's just everywhere in here. It needs to be clean, needs to be repainted. The trim has quite a few cracks in it. So the trim needs to be replaced. The walls, they just left the holes, right? They didn't try to fix any of that. So the shape of the home, the condition of the home, they are just trying to sell it. They're really not looking to do any repairs, which fine, right? In real estate, we can just get quotes from painters and people who can replace trim and contractors and go, hey, they said it's going to cost X amount, so we want that either taken off the price or we want that given back at closing. So there's ways to fix this. Very odd, I don't know if you can tell, this weird look right now. This is wide, which is great. Look at the flooring, then look at this wall. It's a really weird look when they have the wall not lining up with the flooring. And so it looks off right off the bat. It's kind of an odd feeling. I don't think I've ever seen that when you walk into the entryway, it's not just a, symmetrical side by side. The other thing is as soon as you open this first door, we have a half bath up here. Natural light coming in, that looks great. But then the door does this, right? And then same over here. We have our coat closet and the door does that. Now, why is the door doing that? For someone who's a first-time homeowner, they might be freaking out going, oh my God, foundation issues, right? Everything's slanted, everything's like closing by itself. The only reason these are closing is because they changed the hinges out. And so these types of hinges you typically see on garage doors because it's just code now that builders have to the garage door has to self-close. It's protecting you from CO2 emissions in case the car's turned on, right? We don't want that getting into the house. So I'm not sure why they chose to do it here. I don't know if the builder did that or if the owners did it, but it's an odd thing to choose to do, and it's only these two doors. There's no other doors in the house they chose to do that with, so kind of odd. To the left here, garage door. Well, utility room then garage door. Pretty small utility room, quite a lot of shelving though in the room, which is good. That should open it up, but yeah, it is pretty tight in here. And then we do get a 3-car garage. Now, again, they didn't do a great job. I mean, as soon as you walk in, you're greeted with just a skull. So not the most welcoming environment, but ton of space. We do have water softener. And then we also have a solar panel system up there. And they posted, it basically cuts your energy bill in half. So I think it was like 4,800 kilowatt hours in 2024 is what they posted. I'd have to research and know exactly what that means, but it's a working solar system on the roof. So that is a nice feature too that you wouldn't have to pay for. It just comes with the property. Okay, this is the primary. So primary is downstairs. Some of the lights weren't working, so it does look a little weird in here. The closet is off on this side. They also added this here. A lot of builders will not put something there because they're thinking as if you hang stuff, it's just gonna cover that. But I like they put something here. They should have painted it to match the white of the other shelves. And then some storage underneath the stairs. Not the biggest closet, actually it's pretty bad. It's just kind of a row. But that's what that is. Carpet looks in good condition. And then this bathroom is kind of tight. Typically, with newer homes, you don't really see the toilet here anymore. It's usually tucked away in its own room. I was surprised to see this was the primary. When I was walking through here earlier, I thought, oh, this is like a mother-in-law suite. And then maybe upstairs is the primary. No, this is it. This is the primary bathroom. So not great. I do like that we have a bench, right? Some natural light. It's a teeny tiny little window there that's underneath the awning. I don't know if you can see that. So you're not really getting like sunlight per se. You're not getting a view. It's just that. I do like floor to ceiling with the tile they chose here. They do need to clean the grout. I'm sure they're not going to, but something we would need to get done. I really like this flooring, and we see this throughout all the bathrooms. These big tiles, really big black tiles, really easy to clean your grout because there's fewer lines in here. And then a pretty large linen closet. All right, here's the next thing I'm not a big fan of. The kitchen. The kitchen is small. The kitchen is in rough condition. This black countertop has chips everywhere. I don't know what these people were doing. I don't know how you chip this so frequently. I mean, it is everywhere you look, there are just chips everywhere. So that is something that potentially needs to be replaced. But just the amount of space, there's not a lot of room here. The island is nice, right? You get a decent amount of space there to work, but you have the small walkway and then really nothing going on here. The cabinets are in pretty rough condition. They're definitely the original cabinets you can see here. We got the trim, the cabinet, coming off from that side of it, so that would need to be replaced. And then this is our living area. So I told you 2-story, right? It goes up there, we'll go up there last. This layout is super weird to me. Very, very weird. Because I think first off, okay, where are you putting the TV? And it looks like they want the TV there, because that's where the plugs are. My TV wouldn't fit there. So it must be, okay, this corner, right? We do something and we just create the corner, but then how that works with not blocking that door, not blocking this walkway, not blocking that walkway, it's very tight. So the layout of this floor plan is very weird. I think it's the first time I've thought, man, I wish the builder didn't put that window there. Usually builders don't put enough windows in. This one, there's too many, and so there's like no wall that you could actually put your TV. You could put it here, but then you'd have to put the couch here and you're blocking the walkway up to the 3 bedrooms. So honestly, what I would probably do with this is I would make this kind of a lounge area and no TV. We have a loft upstairs, we have a landing. I just make that kind of the living room area where the TV is. And down here, there's just comfortable chairs, coffee table, books, right? Just a space to hang out without a television, kind of old school before TVs. Is probably how I'd use this space. And then potentially to fix this kitchen, because there's just so little countertop space, adding that curving around, right? Maybe kind of a drinks counter there. I think that would make the space work a little bit better. Back patio is awesome. The backyard is great. I'm gonna make sure a bird doesn't attack me. I see a nest up there. I think we're okay. All right, so back patio looks pretty good. Decent amount of space, all covered. Really good amount of yard space. So something Bryant Park did a great job of. Just all these lots are deeper and bigger than what you typically get now, where they're building in Easton Park. And then we're going there in a second. But just so you can see the width, I mean, really wide amount of space. So good amount of yard space, really important. This is very cool. So they built this out. It looks like they have a cement slab underneath, and they put this small deck here. They were using this as an office, but you can use this however you want. This would probably be my wife's crafts room if it was me in this house, a little she shed. But you do have air conditioning. This looks like it's in great shape. This is in better shape than the house. All right, we still have some stuff kind of hanging out the walls, but sheetrock looks good. So it needs to be painted there. Ton of natural light coming in here. This is a cool space, and very rare that you would find something like this. And then you can see the solar panels that we talked about are up there. So go back inside. Definitely some things that I don't like about it, mainly the condition of it and the layout of the living room slash kitchen. But some really unique things. Specifically for me, it's location, 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 and how close we are to the future HB, to all that future commercial. On top of this, a large lot, quiet street, primary bedroom is downstairs. You do get a 3-car garage. Like, there's all these great things about it. The backyard's massive on the side, lots of privacy. You get that extra back shed. It's just kind of figuring out this. What do we do with this? This is by far the worst part of the house. So there's some way to fix it. Now this also needs to be repainted. Again, I wouldn't let that scare you. This is pretty simple. And I wouldn't go this color. I'd probably go black. I think that'd look a little bit cleaner, a little bit more modern. Here we have our landing upstairs. Decent amount of space. And so yeah, this is where I would put TV here, big couch, Love the amount of natural light up here. I love the staggered windows going down the stairs. That looks great. And then this really surprised me. So this is your attic entrance. It's massive, a ton of space up here. And so we see HVAC, that's where you would replace your air filters. You do have your water heater up here, which freaks some people out. Honestly, I would just trust what an inspector says. If they're saying, hey, it's up to code, don't worry about it. You know, maybe check it every, once a year, have someone come out, check it, because the biggest thing is you don't want it to leak and then it's leaking through your house, right? That's what most people are concerned about. So that's why we typically see water heaters in the garage. But I would just have it checked annually to make sure there's no issues there. But a ton of space here for storage. I was not expecting that. And it's just nice that it's a walk-in attic. You don't have to go up a ladder to deal with the air filter. And then we have our 3 bedrooms down here. So here's bedroom number 1, a very loud fan. That's annoying. Decent amount of space, just the 1 window. Get to the bathroom last. Bedroom number 2, got some extra windows in here. Kind of a tighter room though. Again, this all needs to be repainted. The whole house needs to be repainted in my opinion. And then bedroom number 3 is definitely the biggest one by far. You could also potentially use this as a theater room. This is a pretty good sized room. They're quite large. Definitely the largest one. And then we have this attached bathroom. Don't know why they didn't go with a second sink here. Very odd to have 3 bedrooms up here and just the 1 sink when you have room to put a second sink. Natural light coming into the toilet and shower area. Really cool. I like this, this tile here. And then again, the black tile here. So yeah, that's the resale deal of the month. We're gonna check out the new build. This one's super unique though. So for this one, I think you have to kind of see the future a little bit and you have to be okay with doing some upgrades and some updates to the property. But for the price they're offering at $510, I would definitely put an offer in around $500,000, get an inspector out here, see if there's any major concerns, right? Because I am a little concerned when I walked up and that water, the hose bib wasn't covered for the ice. I'm like, okay, have they been taking care of this property? Have they been changing the air filters? What's the roof like? Is there anything that I don't know about? So I'd want to get an inspection done. But if there's no big ticket concerns, foundation, roof, HVAC, plumbing, then I think this is a great steal. Get it at $500,000. In 4 years, you'll be able to sell it in the $600,000s, depending on the market. But right now we're in that buyer's market. It's going to shift eventually. The pendulum always swings the other way. So when it becomes a seller's market, I think with some updates in this house, this could be a really good investment and also just a nice house to live into in a beautiful neighborhood. So cool, there you have it. This is a resale home. I'll see you now at the new build deal of the month. So this next house we're checking out is the new build deal of the month. This one is listed at $540,000. This is a NewMark home, okay? It is a 5-bed, 4-bath, 2,587 square foot home, 2-story. The price per square foot is the second lowest in the entire neighborhood at $208.73. This one's been on market for 182 days and was originally $575,000, so they dropped it about $35,000. We are in Balcoa Park. And just so you can kind of get a sense, all of these are NewMark homes. And Balcoa Park is south, so the southern part of this. Right here is going to be Slaughter Lane. So right now I'm looking west, okay? They're going to connect where Slaughter Lane ends right now, right there, and it's going to connect over to 183. So eventually this is going to be a pretty good spot where you'll be able to go out here, take a left, and then you're right on Slaughter. Right now there's just nothing there. This is Courtyard style, like NewMark and Pacesetter do that in Easton Park. So we do have this shared long driveway and then a 2-car garage. You can see my car's parked where you would park here. I like the exterior of this home. I like that it's not just white. Like they went a little different with this kind of blue greenish look and then the brick on the bottom. Let's check this one out. Very different house. Even though we're about 30,000 higher than the last home, completely different. So first difference is you have a Casita, and this actually hasn't been counted. So when I said 5 bedrooms, this is the 6th bedroom separated. You can see we have its own air conditioning unit in here, small closet, and then aren't working in here. We do have a full bathroom in here. So this is great, and if you look on Airbnb, you actually see that a lot of people in the neighborhood, if they have a Casita or an ADU, an accessory dwelling unit above their garage, they rent those out on Airbnb. So that's what I would do if I bought this house, is just make a little bit of extra cash. They have their own entryway, and then if it's not being used for Airbnb, then you can just have this as your guest room. But literally all you need to do is put a bed here, a couple bedside tables, you're ready to go, right? So this is nice to just have this separated entrance. And then we have this wrought iron gate that leads into our courtyard area. I'm gonna go through this front door though. Good. Coded entry. And as you can tell, we're going through a freeze right now, so all the cabinet doors are open and such. I'm gonna put my notes down here. All right, so going left, this is actually our mother-in-law suite. Here we just have some extra storage, more of a coat closet. Mother-in-law suite slash home office, however you'd want to use it. Personally, I would use it for home office, but if you are in a situation where maybe you have someone older living with you and going up and downstairs is a little tough for them, this is a great spot for them. Pretty decent sized closet for it being a guest bedroom. And a good size, really good size for a full bedroom if you chose to use that. And then they do have their own entrance to a bathroom. Nothing too fancy going on here. I do like the hexagonal little difference for the tile there. I think the tile's a little dirty, which is surprising for a new build. I'd ask them to fix that. Yep, just a small bathroom. Now this would also be the kind of guest bathroom because it is right off the entrance here. Again, we have 4 full bathrooms with this home. Primary living area. Nothing too exciting with the ceiling. Sometimes they have those taller ceilings, but not in this one. And then kitchen. I do like the length of the island. Not a ton of countertop space in this kitchen. Literally it's just that and that, and that's all you get. And then also not a ton of cabinet space in this kitchen. I do like the built-in oven microwave. That's definitely a sleeker look. We have the corner pantry, so plenty of storage there. And then I do like that we have the wide 5-burner range. You can actually use all 5 burners, not the tight one that some builders like to do. Large single basin sink looking out to the primary living area, and then we have the reverse osmosis system that I think is optional. Like they've already built it in, but it's up to you if you actually want to install reverse osmosis. Down here's our utility room. Much larger, kind of basic, but it's bigger, so I probably put some sort of folding table over here. The nice thing about this is, A, it's far away, it's tucked away, so you're in the living room, you shouldn't be able to hear the dryer going. The secondly, it's right next to the primary bedroom, which is where most of the laundry is going to be done, at least, in my case. So primary bedroom, very large. I do like the tray ceiling. I like that we have some recessed lighting up there. Lots of natural light coming in because we're just looking into our courtyard. Also just super private. You wouldn't really need to put any curtains up. It's just there, those neighbors, but that's all that could see inside. Excuse me. We do have separated sinks in the primary bathroom. Really good sized walk-in shower with the built-in shelf, natural light coming in. I wish they put a bench here. I think it's a missed opportunity for how big this shower is. Floor to ceiling with the tile, kind of boring tile in my opinion. There's so many other options out there for a new build, but the vertical subway tile, I don't think it's ever gonna go out of style, having that just white clean tile. I do like the floor tile, it looks great. I do like the cabinet color in here they went with, that looks great too. Closet's not that big. Closet's not great. And then lots of doors. So we have a linen closet, we have a toilet, and we have another linen closet. So that helps a little bit for the lack of closet space as you get 2 linen closets. Let's check out the garage. 2-car garage. I always check out the width first, pretty good width. So this size door, right, wall to door, we're looking at about 1.5 feet, maybe 2 feet actually. It's pretty wide, so that's nice. Some additional features a lot of builders are doing now. The EV charging is already just built in already. We have the tankless water heater inside the home, which is great, especially when we have this freeze like we're dealing with now, not having to figure out and go online and what pipes do I cover with towels. It's all in the garage. You don't need to do anything with it. Rainbird irrigation system, and then your electrical sub panel, and then access to the attic, more traditional up through there. I am not gonna go in there today. Check out the courtyard. So, this is something, personally, I'm not a big fan of with Pacesetter or NewMark. Why I personally probably would never buy a Pacesetter or NewMark is because I have dogs. I have large dogs. I'm always going to have dogs. I want to be able to let them outside easily and be able to see them. You do get yard. You get this small one here, right, which is really nothing for a big dog. And then I'm not gonna walk down there because of the ice, but you have more yard space. I'll kind of zoom in so you can kind of get a sense on the side of the house. And then there's a gate there to the left that would be by where you park your car, by your driveway. So you do get some yard space. I just prefer more of a traditional, I can look out the window and see my dog. Also with these homes, I don't know why they choose to do this, but I guess it makes sense. You have your shared driveway there, so then your patio has to be on the other side. But then they have a shared driveway, so their patio is on the other side. So you're just really close to your neighbor. Actually, when I walked in earlier, I was turning the lights on, and I just saw the neighbors talking through the window, and it was very awkward. It's very uncomfortable being that close to your neighbors. So the privacy is a little lacking with these homes. There's definitely ways to maybe add tall hedges, add a curtain here. There's ways to go about it, but you best become best friends with your neighbor, because you're going to be looking at each other a lot, even just from the living room. I mean, they're right there. All the windows are right there. All right, let's check out upstairs. So, like I said, there's 3 bedrooms upstairs, the 1 bathroom. And so when I see this layout for NewMark, I definitely think big family. Love the natural light up here, great view. The future lots they're gonna be building. But it is nice if you do have kids. They have, the whole upstairs is there. So they have this pretty large landing area, ton of natural light coming in, very much separated, so the sounds aren't gonna bleed into the main living area downstairs. We have our bathroom in here. A little tight. I do wish it had 2 sinks. Same thing I said with the last home. And then, oh, I actually misspoke. I thought there were 3 bedrooms up here. Okay, well then, yeah, there are 4 bedrooms in this house, plus the Casita. So it is a 5 bedroom. I don't know why in my mind, as I was turning the lights on, there were 3 bedrooms up here. Still thinking about that last house. These bedrooms are pretty small. But again, for a kid, this bedroom's not too bad. That end one is a little small. So yes, it is a 4 bedroom in the main house, and then you have the Casita as the 5th. Cool. That makes a little bit more sense. So yeah, I think this one works well for a larger family. For me and my wife, we don't have any kids. We're never going to have kids. This layout doesn't quite make sense for us. We're more focused on big yards, having that space for our dogs. And so it really depends on what you're looking for, right? Your lifestyle and the reason you're buying the house. I would say for the other house, your primary should probably be, okay, I want a good investment. I'm buying a house because I really want to make my money back and I'm tired of renting. If you're looking around the high 400, low 500 range, I think that is definitely something to consider with that resale home deal of the month. And then this one, again, it's just if you have a larger family or maybe you're a growing family, you just need more space. This price per square foot, you really can't beat it in Easton Park. And I'm actually gonna do a video next week, I think, that's gonna be all about NewMark, because I keep seeing NewMark homes sitting on market and dropping their prices. And I wanna figure out why, what's going on with that. Because every time I look at new build homes in Easton Park, I'm like, okay, who has the best price per square foot? Let's start off there. It's always NewMark. Now, their product's a little different, as you can tell with these being Courtyard homes, but if you are interested in kind of learning more about NewMark or Courtyard homes in general, check out that video that I'm posting a week from now, because I'm gonna do a deep dive into kind of comparing NewMark sales to the other builders that I'm seeing in the neighborhood and kind of what's going on with them. But I hope this video was helpful for you all. If you are considering, or you know someone who's considering buying or selling real estate in Easton Park, you can always give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, or schedule a Zoom call. Love to help you and your family find a great home and a great deal in the Easton Park neighborhood. Until next time, I hope to see you guys around the neighborhood.